Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Driven Wyld. Today we are talking about Instacart Pay Model. One of the most vital things that any gig worker must understand about any platform that they work on is the nuances of the pay models of the companies they work with, and Instacart is no exception to this rule. So in this video, we are talking about everything you must know about Instacart's pay model, what they tell you versus how it actually is, and everything in between. But before we do that, let's go over a quick disclaimer. The content of this video does not contain, is never intended to be, legal, business, financial, tax, or health advice of any kind. This video is for entertainment purposes only. It is advised that you conduct your own research and consult qualified professionals before applying anything you find online. Also, I want to be clear that whenever we're talking about a gig platform, everything that we're going to be going over is very market dependent, and what applies to me in my market may not apply to you. So with that said, let's get started. How earnings are calculated. Instacart strives to equip you with information on the best way to earn so you can earn what you need when you need it. Our earnings approach includes total earnings equals base pay plus promotions plus tips. As always, you will see the full amount you expect to earn before you accept a batch. You can always choose batches that meet your preferences, and there is no penalty for not accepting a batch. While that does start political, it is a good summary for how the app operates normally. It can be rather misleading to those who don't read the full pages, but we'll get into that in a minute. Earnings estimate. The earnings estimate is what Instacart offers per batch and includes batch pay, customer tip, and if applicable, promotions, heavy pay, and boost pay. All are automatically totaled in the amount you see before accepting a batch. Note the word that they chose was earning estimate, not final total. That is a big red flag to a lot of drivers, especially for those living in questionable markets. Batch pay. The pay for each batch may vary depending on a range of factors, including the number of items and units per batch, the location of the batch, and estimated distance you'll drive to complete the batch, and more. The batch pay may increase if a customer adds more tips before checkout. Batch pay is determined by the estimated effort to complete the batch. For example, smaller and faster batches may pay $4 or more, while larger or more complex batches may pay more and increase based on the size or complexity of the batch. In all honesty, the values go up in pocket change, so if they add 20 items to a 5-item order at the very last minute, they're an asshole, and you should unassign before they take advantage of you. You can also choose types of batches you want to get in your account settings. This includes bulky batches, RX, alcohol, heavy batches, and more. Open your shopper app, tap the profile icon in the bottom right corner, tap batch eligibility, tap the type of batches you want to get, follow the prompts or guidance given, such as completing trading, so you can receive the batch type. Personally, I have no preference for the types of batches I'll accept as long as the price is right. However, I know that there are some who avoid certain orders like the plague due to the associated risks with it. That's why alcohol is one of those orders that a lot of people dislike. So it's really up to you on how you want to handle that. Since every batch is unique, our support team can't break down your batch pay for you or provide additional bumps. This includes double batches, triple batches, batches with only one shop order, batches with one shop only order, and one shop and deliver order. Also, don't think being cute with the unassigned is going to help you in any kind of way. Peak earning times, high demand, and boost pay. Batch pay may change based on customer demand. The shopper app's peak earning times page shows which times of the day pay more throughout the week so you can plan ahead. This is what the page would normally look like. You can find this page under the earnings tab, but that said, 5% of $4 is 20 cents, so don't let that sway your opinion too much. That 5% boost is not for the tip, that's for the base pay. Boost pay is an additional amount offered on some batches when the customer demand for shoppers is greatest. You see a flame at batch acceptance if boost pay is included. This is mainly due to an order being undesirable in the first place, so they make up for it by adding more and more to the price until it's either accepted or canceled. This is that game of chicken that drivers pay, either patiently waiting for a good order or waiting for the order to have so much base pay it makes up for the lack of tip. However, the sentiment among drivers in general is no tip, no trip due to the customer behaviors being so bad, but we'll go into that. Peak earning times and boost pay aren't available in Seattle. In Seattle, there has been legislation introduced that has greatly affected drivers in that area. It also affected customers and merchants there and enforced an entirely different pay structure than what is normally presented. So the benefits and plans in Seattle are not applying everywhere else. Same with California. In fact, there's a special section dedicated to this in their help pages because of how different gigs are treated there in comparison to the rest of the world. Same with California and same with New York. Heavy pay. Heavy pay is automatically included in your batch pay when an order has individual items that weigh over 8 pounds or 128 ounces each, such as a 12-pack of soda or gallon of milk, and the total combined weight is 50 pounds or more. You will see a heavy pay tag before accepting a batch if it includes heavy pay. When included, heavy pay will always be at least $2 on top of the batch pay. Now, keep in mind, it has to have both qualifications. An individual item that is over 8 pounds or 128 ounces each, and the total combined weight of 50 pounds or more. Just because they order a lot of items doesn't mean they're getting heavy pay. And to be clear, this is the collective weight, not just one item. You will see this a lot more with places like Costco, BJ's, Sam's Club. Bigger items, more money, which isn't always a lot either. We'll go really deep into that into a different video. Most orders I end up doing are not heavy pay orders, but I know a lot of people that do really well on Instacart when they camp in places like wholesale clubs like Costco, BJ's, Sam's Club, and they kind of just hang out in a parking lot there trying to get on a really good Instacart order. Heavy pay isn't available in Seattle. Like I said, they have different programs for those type of markets. Tips. You will always get 100% of customer tips, which are paid in addition to batch earnings. The final tip amount may change after checkout if the customer changes the tip after delivery or items in the order are refunded or replaced for items at a different price, which changes the order total and tip amount. See, this is what bothers me about those statements. You get 100% of the tip and they could change the amount of it, and the items in the order may not even be available, so that can also change the tip amount as well.
But Joe, the order price can also go up too, you know.
True. While that may sound like a good thing for us, the occurrence is so few and far between it is hardly worth talking about. You can't go into an order with the expectation of it going higher because of a cash tip or the customer adds a tip on the app. Not to mention, if we shouldn't expect it to go higher, why should we have to caution for the idea that it can be lower? Wouldn't it just be a clear violation of contract? Customers have 2 hours after the delivery to lower their tip and up to 14 days to increase the tip. If you see them remove their tip, you should never work with them again. Also, why should drivers have that privilege at all? If you commit to a payment, you should pay it, not tip bait drivers. Now, they do have a tip guard in place for the few times it happens and make sure they do to a certain degree that you don't end up losing everything, but there are limits to that too. Not to mention the overarching question with that, wouldn't it just be similar and a more effective decision to forget the tip guard and remove the option for them to remove the tip altogether? Yeah, but then the fight would be brought to IC and not amongst each other. You see, if shoppers and customers are too busy being mad at each other, the discourse is between us, not them. Is that logical thought process going to stop most people? No, we can't condone bad behavior by focusing on another problem. Saying something like,
take it up with the company. It's not our fault that the company doesn't pay you enough. Get a real job.
It's like your girlfriend or boyfriend saying, don't be mad at me for cheating on you. It's their fault that they seduced me. It is a display of poor character by absolute losers who don't take accountability for their own actions. Also, in a lot of cases, we are mad at the companies. We have taken it up with them multiple times, but do they listen? Of course not. And we are still taking the fight to them. That doesn't mean we're not going to look out for ourselves in the meantime. No tip, no trip. One of the main principles I can give to any of these gig apps really is the prospect of no tip, no trip. If you see an order that has no tip on it, it is 100% irresponsible for you as the driver to accept it. Why would you willingly give your time, energy, and resources to a customer who chose to display such a lack of respect for you and your work? And yes, it was their choice. Put it this way, if they want to tip you $0, they have to manually input $0 in the app at checkout. A notification about tipping will pop up and then they will continue to no tip. Which, by the way, why didn't this make headline news just like it did with Doordash? Doordash did this and there were legitimate riots over the internet. Headline news was all over it, acting as if the customer was being punished. Why didn't they do that with Instacart? Either way, did I miss anything? Is there something about the Instacart Pay Model that I have yet to cover in this video? Let me know in the comments. Let's make sure that anything and everything about this subject is covered, so that way we can make the most amount of money in the least amount of time in the safest possible way. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. As always, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.